All right, welcome to another Honcast.com presentation. This is Phil, going to be your shoutcasting host, and joining me is Toby-Wan Kenobi, a community shoutcaster from Gamesta. And we have got a great match for you today. This is semifinals play at the DreamHack Summer Event 2010. This is Fnatic MSI going up against Team Drdz. Once again, this is the semifinals. We just got done casting the KDE versus TXL match, and what a game, what a series of games that ended up being.
I'm still having a bit of heart palpitations from that one, so it's going to take a while to come back from it. But we're actually getting ourselves into this one finally. I got to say that's the most professional introduction I've ever heard since Breaky CPK did about 5 minutes ago. But yes, we are going to get ourselves in. So already the band's coming up here. I feel really, really sorry for Fade. She is like the ugly sister sitting in the back corner of a club. Has been banned every single damn time tonight because with very, very good reason though.
Well, yeah, I mean, Fade definitely just one of those heroes that, when utilized properly, it's so difficult to stop her. I mean, she's got a good escape mechanism. She's very, very powerful early game. With that mana burn is probably her most devastating move, though. Mm-hmm. I mean, the ability to just, especially if you're talking about weaker heroes, intellect-type heroes, or, wow, that was a breaking move, intelligence-type heroes, you can really, really do a lot of damage right there. So already we had a disconnect from Ducky, but fortunately he was able to reconnect relatively quickly. And the rest of the bans, I mean, we do see Valkyrie being banned here, so definitely a shot directly at Trixie with that ban. Yeah, well, Trixie, we see him so much now. He's just completely ripped up every single side with the Valk so far. Actually, it's going to be interesting to see the grand final if we do see MSI get through, because Valk has literally been picked non-stop by our boys who have gone through. So it's going to be interesting to see actually who comes out on top at the end of this one. So we will actually get ourselves into it. The picks are actually starting to come out right now. So we first started off with Soul Stealer for the Legion side. So Drdz, of course, picking up with him, because we've seen him so much today already, because massive DPS. The Razors. What am I, a Dota Shoutcaster? Of course, the Demon Hands coming out from the Soul Stealer. Very, very powerful. Very, very accurate as well. Like we saw him before. There was a match, the one we actually shoutcasted, the best of, the second match, I think it was. The first one.
Yeah, it was the first one? The second one. There was one of them. Second one. Yeah, anyway. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, we actually had that come up, and just down the bottom lane, just turns the entire battle around with a couple of well-placed Demon Hands, and he's going to be one to actually watch out, of course. We also have Pestilence coming up here as well, as I think we're actually, yes, I think we're getting spanned up on the stream, so luckily we've got our big man here to actually stop that from coming up. But Glacius and Pestilence coming up as the next pick-up. Now, Glacius, he has been banned a couple of times recently, but because he has been picked up this time around, so spamming up spells once again. We did see it come out in our last match, the other semi-final we actually just shoutcast, for the ability to actually spam spells against the heroes. Mm-hmm. Didn't come off for them well. Glacius became one of the redundant heroes in the end, and hopefully we'll see him be a key part this time.
Yeah, and I mean, you were talking about the Soul Stealer, how accurate it is. The best thing about those Demon Hands is that the range of those is just so big. I mean, if you've ever even checked out like the Demon Hand range indicator, it's a mod that somebody made or whatever. Like all the ranges overlap each other. So basically, unless you're blind, it's or you get juked super hardcore. Yeah. It's difficult to miss those, and that's what makes him not just such a powerful hero when it comes to team fights, but also for farming. I mean, if you're anywhere close, basically you nuke down some creep waves, you gain 250 gold, and you move on to the next big thing. Yeah. But a couple other picks coming out here for Druids, going with Plague Rider and Arachna. Arachna we've seen a lot of play with her lately, not just today, but I mean in general. Arachna seems to be that kind of flavor of the month hero.
But do you notice every single time we watch it, like every single time I've seen her here at DreamHack, she hasn't been massively key to it. Like she's been one of the carriers and want to try and get up there, but she gets targeted or she gets restricted somehow. Yes, you throw down the ulti, but generally the ulti is like you throw a spider at someone and they have to try and deal with it. It's good for ganking. It's good when you're on the one-on-one. But the second there's support, the second there's a team fight coming into it, Arachna for me doesn't hold a ground. In the team fights, and it's like literally the changeover of it's the Dro Ranger, literally. It's a combination of Dro Ranger put through into Arachna, and I just feel like sometimes it doesn't work greatly in a team battle, but still with the hero picks that do come out from here for Heroes of New Earth at the moment, Arachna is still a decent pick, but it's not one of those heroes which you go, oh my god, that should be banned every single time, and that's I reckon the reason why we keep seeing her is she is what you make her.
Well, I mean, she does require a fair amount of farm to be viable in the late game, and I mean you're 100% right when it comes down to using that ultimate, I mean, in a one-on-one type situation, unless she's basically going against a weaker hero or a hero that has no farm, a simple TP scroll is enough to basically counter everything Arachna's got, because all she's got is, she's got her Hardened Carapace is obviously an excellent ability.
Yes.
Especially when you're playing against people who have damage over time spells, and she can dispel those. But taking a look, I mean, like, her web shot, obviously used in conjunction with her ultimate, is a great tool to basically stop a hero in his tracks. However, like you said, if there's any kind of support, if there's any kind of, if you're attacking somebody who already does high DPS, that spider does not have a whole lot of health.
Yeah.
I mean, a few attacks is enough to take it out. If you have enough health, you can pretty much withstand the spider, and a simple TP will basically take you out of range. So
we should actually have a look at everyone else actually finished up now. We've got Electrician, Arachna, Soulstealer, Plague Rider, and Pyromancer coming out for the Legion side. I'd love to see Pharaoh. Pharaoh's the first time I've actually seen him pick this time around. There's Chipper, Glacius, Pharaoh, Forsaken Archer, as well as Pestilence coming out for our Hellborn side. And I think everyone is actually ready up, but Arachna, the one hero we're actually talking about a hell of a lot. Your thoughts of the lineup? I want to hear Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil, give me some couch time on this.
Pharaoh is probably, a lot of people who watch my cast, they know that Pharaoh is my favorite hero to watch play, because he's one of those heroes that you don't see him, and then suddenly, from halfway across the map, you're stunned, and then there's a wall of mummies around you, and you're just basically at the mercy of both his damage and anyone else who happens to be around. He is probably one of the best initiating / ganking heroes in the game, especially if you can be accurate with his ultimate.
Yep.
On the same note, Chipper, he took quite a big nerf a while ago with them nerfing the early damage of his rockets, so not quite the dominant mid hero that he was before. Still a very good mid hero and very capable of getting creep kills, but not necessarily the hero killing machine at mid that he was before.
Yeah.
But like I said, he definitely has a lot of great abilities that can contribute to the team. His ultimate, especially once you get Staff of the Master, is it's the best snare in the game, basically. I mean, you're moving away from it, but at the rate of a snail. So it's very good for basically controlling a lane or forcing heroes to go, kind of the way Fissure works, except you can bypass it, but you're going to take a lot of damage doing so. So it basically blocks off a route of escape. And then we've seen a lot of Forsaken Archer in Pestilence play today as well. And looks like Kay picking up that Pestilence is not going to be not much surprise there. Kay, well known as one of the best Pestilence players probably in the world right now.
In that case, we're definitely going to have a good side here, because we have seen so many pub stomps until just recently, but even then, that was a 5v4. This is going to be possibly the best 5v5 we're going to see so far in this tournament. So brace yourselves, peoples, because we might need a new pair of pants, and I'm not talking about the jizz.
For once.
For once. We're keeping it clean, or at least we're keeping on the other side of the bodily function. So, let's have a look at our lanes actually rolling out now. So I'll have a little bit of run through the Hellborn sides. I've got Pharaoh as well as Forsaken Archer heading down towards the bottom. Mid is actually going to be a solo Glacius, and heading up towards top is our Chipper. One hero actually left out of the mix at the moment, who I'm actually having trouble seeing because Breaky CPK's resolution is so damn tiny. Pestilence, there he is, back actually at the main gate there for the mid section. So I'm not actually going to solo at the mid, so actually going to run those two guys in the middle section. They more than likely, is what we saw before, when Soulstealer went solo mid, they want to instantly combat it, so get two people right on top of it, and that's exactly what they're doing now. In fact, they've actually got three people watching that top room by the looks of it.
Yeah, and actually we spoke with Rexy earlier in an interview, and this is exactly what he said. I think they were basically baiting the Soulstealer pick to run this lane against it, because that's the kind of their whole strategy right there. So it'll be interesting, because like Rexy was trying to explain what his strategy was going to look like. It'll be interesting to see if they can pull it off.
It definitely will be. I'm actually watching Arachna right now, because I love always watching the early rune to see exactly what it's actually used for. I'm going to actually stick on Arachna, picked up the haste rune, still hasn't actually got even a level 1 yet. So there's actually been no skill she's actually selected just yet. So I'm looking forward to actually seeing where she's actually going to go. Hopefully going to get that webbing shot straight off the cuff here, so she can harass up there. She's running up towards the top lane, and in the end not going to be able to harass Chipper. Chipper's too close to the tower for the back of this one, so might give a little bit of harassment, but that's literally it. You're going to come up towards the tower. That's a bit of a waste of a rune. I thought they might have actually come in towards the middle, but with that double lane there, Soulstealer literally has to do it all by himself, so stick close to that tower. We're going to have to watch that CS score very, very closely, I think, on the mid there, just to see how much farm Soulstealer is capable of actually getting between that Glacius as well as Pestilence combo.
Yeah, actually, we do see a little bit of action coming down at the bottom. Another thing that we didn't mention actually is the use of Electrician in this game. Electrician's been seeing a little bit of love lately. A lot of people have been paying attention to Bryce, who plays for Team Neva. They've been kind of paying attention to his play. He's been playing a lot of Electrician. However, Loda playing this Electrician, choosing to go the Static Rip first. That's obviously it's a great tool for initiating and for ganking. However, in this lane, there's probably very little chance that he's going to be able to get a full grip off. What with Pharaoh having that Hellfire ability and Forsaken Archer having the mini stun.
Yeah, it's in the end, he's just going to level it up. They're not even worried about it too much as the creep wave actually diving past the tower. Pharaoh trying to come up here after seeing Pyromancer pulling on that bottom lane, wants to try and actually stop this one off. And Electrician quite happy to actually take the last hits there, just being slightly out of range of the tower there. And I'm wondering if they're almost even baiting them to actually try and do that one, to actually see Pharaoh move around the side at the moment. I don't know about you, but no, there's Tormented Soul has actually gone off here, but I actually haven't seen massive harassment. It's actually something I love seeing from a Pharaoh, not only to actually know his own lane, but to know the other lanes. Looks like I had a bit of trouble there with Soul Stealer having to actually heal himself up as well. He went very, very low. I don't know if you actually managed to catch that one, Phil.
No, I was actually watching that bottom lane with you. I mean, it's one of those things. Actually, we see some harassment going on to Plague Rider from up top. A nice rocket landed there from Chipper, but Arachna going to come back and try to support, throwing out the web shot onto him to make sure that no more damage comes to him. However, we do see Glacius making his way up towards. He's got a haste rune who's coming up behind that Soul Stealer. Maybe he'll make it to something happen, but actually he's got no mana, so I got excited there for nothing.
And the breeze flash literally flowed in just then, so you thought, oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, get him. But I mean, obviously Glacius, he just doesn't have the mana right now. But they seem to be doing relatively well here in this lane. K already 13-9, leading the creep score for the entire game.
It's Plague now actually moved from the top lane, coming back in to actually help out Soul Stealer here in the middle lane as Glacius just falling back there a little bit. Glacius, he's only got the level 1 at the moment, obviously waiting to get up a little bit more, of course, being in the dual lane at the moment. Look at Plague Rider, he's quite happy to actually tank it for Soul Stealer, so he'll push them back, he'll be quite happy to do that, get up on the high ground, give Soul Stealer that vision in case he does want to use those Demon Hands, which should hopefully now be up to level 3. And we do look it up, actually, yes, it is actually Demon Hands up to level 2, he's level 3. But this is getting that vision up there, as that looks like our first blood actually comes down on the bottom lane with Pyromancer and Electrician coming on through. They're not quite finished just yet. Forsaken Archer still trying to fall back here. Electrician, he's almost back on that static grip. They've actually dived past the tower. They should be able to claim this one. They've actually gone all the way past the tower. The blast comes out from the Pyromancer, so they claim the kill. TP comes in. Perfect stun on the back of Pharaoh, so just slowing him down. In comes the Soul over the top. He might be able to bring down Pyromancer. He's got enough time. The cooldown, Pyromancer going for a bit of a run around, ring around Rosie at the moment, as Pharaoh is still moving himself in. TP support still coming back in, so we actually seen the Forsaken Archer rejoin them now, and unless he can actually manage to get a fantastic soul off, even then no, Pyromancer's actually got himself back up to enough health, so he'll go back to the pool and let those guys free farm that bottom lane. But first blood already coming off, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, a double kill for that lane down there. I mean, honestly, I gotta be honest, I was not expecting that. I understand the combo between Electrician and Pyromancer is very, very strong. However, with both of these heroes having stuns, I just wasn't expecting that, especially with the Hellfire ability where Pharaoh just has to basically walk up next to you. I mean, I didn't see it coming there at that lane. I thought if anything we might see it here at the mid lane. But, I guess I was wrong.
Obviously, Dr. Phil going back to the drawing board off the back of that one. Mm-hmm. Actually, while all this has been happening, notice Arachna's actually switched now. Arachna's actually up the top. The vote to actually pause the game, so the game is actually going to become official here. Arachna falling back towards the tier 1 tower. Chipper just throwing down the tower, missing on the back of the rocket, but Arachna forced back once again. We are going to go ourselves into a pause, so we're actually going to have a bit of time to actually have a chat about the CS score. So that's one thing which I wanted to have a look at beforehand, but whenever you actually shoutcast in game, you never actually have the time to do so. Now, Soul Stealer, how has he actually been going in the middle so far?
Well, I mean, right now he's only 13-5. Looking at his creep score, doing about 210 gold per minute, so he's actually not doing too bad. Him and K are dead even as far as not in creep scores, but as far as gold per minute goes right now. And I don't know. You kind of got to give Soul Stealer the lane for that. I mean, as far as how far he's holding up there, especially because it's like I said, Rexy was talking about how this is going to be like basically the ultimate counter to Soul Stealer, and obviously I think that Plague Rider coming down has had a lot to do with that change.
Yeah. Yeah, it's something we were talking about before with Plague Rider just taking it for the team, and that's what the support heroes have to do. A lot of people don't actually really understand that the carries really rely on the support heroes. The support heroes for a reason. They've got to be there, they've got to take it for the team, they've got to move themselves up, and not just there to actually try and do the damage, get the deniers out, but for Plague Rider to move to the other side of the river, get the vision on the high, be the aggressive party, allow Soul Sealer that little bit of time to go. So we come off the pause and we're going to go back onto the pause here, and the sorry call is actually coming out from Glacier, so it looks like something's still going slightly wrong here. But yeah, the support heroes, I really think like a lot of people, they'll praise the big heroes, the big players who always play the carries, and they take it home for their team because they've got like a massive hat trick that came on through and created a genocide. But I do think the support heroes are the unspoken heroes.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it's unfortunate because a lot of times they just kind of get swept under the mat, so to speak.
Yeah.
And honestly, you can't win the game without support heroes.
Yeah.
You just can't. I mean, it takes a lot of time, especially in an evenly matched game like I'm assuming this one is going to be. You got to take. It takes a long time to get some of your heroes to their full potential, and the only way to get those here to that potential is basically to have those support heroes support them. So I mean, it's
even
like,
just look at support heroes. Look at Plague Rider. He's got +3 strength to stay alive. That's his only item he actually has. And now he's actually in a little bit of trouble. Frost actually come off here. We actually restarted back in. Pestilence with a stun. They do bring him down. Can Soul Stealer actually make the most of it? No, Pestilence back on the speed. Literally opens up the wings and just kicks his ass out of there. And Glacius left to actually, continue the creep battle there in the middle. Actually, Soul Stealer now being a little bit more aggressive, hoping to get a bit of a demon hand on the back there of Pestilence, who decided to come back in towards the lane. But literally, he took it for the team. Now, I think it's called out of position just a little bit there, but that's something you got to be concerned about. That Pestilence so fast in there, and the second that stun comes out from Glacius, you got to be on the ball. And Pestilence just caught slightly napping that. Our Plague Rider just caught slightly napping there.
Yeah, something that's also interesting about this game thus far is the lack of wards in this game. I mean, take a look around. There's absolutely no sight on either of these runes or anywhere else on the map for that fact.
Actually, has been any wars even placed? I don't think they actually have.
There was one. There was one blocking the creep spawn, the pool spawn on Chipper side, on the Hellbore side. Actually, we might have some action coming on here in the middle as Pestilence takes quite a bit of damage from Plague Rider, and now Soul Stealer has basically full health and mana, so probably looking for opportunity to go in here on maybe something like Glacius. Although Pestilence does have that damage rune. There's the Contagion coming out onto Plague Rider. However, Soul Stealer not able to finish up as Pestilence runs away. The Ice Imprisonment being put up there by Glacius, and Pestilence going to have to run back to base to regen.
That's what we're talking about with how tricky it is to get those hands off there. The hands didn't actually hit quite right. If he actually hit that on top of Pestilence would be dead right now. Instead, he was just facing in a slightly wrong direction, went off to the side, and didn't come off with the goods. And it's things like that you just want to have the little bit of advantage on. As Pyromancer coming from the side, Pharaoh is trying to actually do a bit of a fun little ring around the rosy on the tree side on the bottom of the lane to try and bring down that electrician. He's having a great old time farming off here. Even Forsaken Archers falling back from that one because they don't want to get caught on the back of that Pyromancer stun. There's fear in the bottom lane coming from the Hellborn side, and I'm not quite sure why. You've got two fantastic heroes going up. It's still a melee range combination coming out here, but they've just got that fear of the stun that's going to come out from these boys.
Well, I mean, it's not just the stun, but it's also the fact, I mean, he's taken level 4, he's now just hit level 7, taking 4 Electric Shield, which is basically, it's better than a Mocker Brilliance. I mean, you get 48 damage per second if you're in the range of it. So as Electrician moves up, you can attack him, he pops on that Mana Shield, and basically it does damage to you and prevents him from taking damage. So, you know, they're trying to avoid taking additional damage there from that very Mocker Brilliance-like absorption Electric Shield. But now, actually, we saw Pyromancer pulled up top, so they are open to go in here Electrician, and they may in fact do it as Pharaoh's now coming around, trying to set something up. There's the mummies right there. There's the Hellfire. There's the stun coming out for Forsaken Archer. They're putting a lot of DPS on him. Here comes the Electric Shield. Is it going to be enough to save him? He's still going to take some damage. Pharaoh going in. However, there was a kill up top. Looks like Arachna. Arachna able to take out. It was Chipper with the assistance of Pyromancer, and they were unable to capitalize at the bottom lane with that kill against Electrician. And that's what makes him just so strong, is Electrician's ability to stay in the lane and take so much damage. Yeah,
that was absolutely insane. That shield is just so strong, and they just couldn't bring him down. He got back past the tower, very, very low HP. I'm still surprised Pharaoh actually hasn't even blasted off anything here. We're going for another pause here. But Pharaoh like things like that, you can harass them all the way back to the base. It was like whenever you play like Clockwork Goblin in Dota, Pharaoh's the same. You fire off that soul, you want to try and hit them on the way back there, force people to even take the long way around. A lot of people get very, very scared of the amount of damage that does come out of that soul. So it forces you to take longer to go through here, but you just watched him run all the way back towards base. He ran in a straight line. Lotto literally just ran directly in a straight line back towards the main base. Waste no time, get your items, head back out there and keep it going. There's that fear which I always like to see come out of a Pharaoh. I was saying almost about 5 minutes ago, where you want to see him harassing multiple lanes. You don't want to just see him pushing the one lane, hitting on that neutral pull to see if they're doing that one. You want to see that soul firing off every single time. Now, always hit on cooldown. Fire towards the mid, fire towards the top, fire towards your own lane in the bottom. Keep that consistent harassment going and support your team that way as well. So I really want to see that, especially considering Pharaoh does have that chilling presence. He can fire it off all the time. He even like fires it off now and he hits Electrician in the back of a bubble. No creep wave gets damage. You fire that towards the middle. There's more harassment that comes off from it, and there's more fear that actually gets put into you. As even like Electrician running back, then he wouldn't have run straight.
Well, I mean, he's only taken Tormented Soul level 1. I mean, currently he's actually taken 3 levels into Hellfire, so, the cooldown of 30 seconds, I mean, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. So, basically, they got to be pretty low health, and he's still got to have it available. And he's been using it pretty often here. I mean, granted, it just has not been to harass heroes, but with 30-second cooldown, you just can't really... you can't really afford to... Or it's harder to get kills with it, I should say.
Yeah. It turns Pharaoh into a kind of support hero, which is probably my kind of style, which is probably why I prefer that build. But Hellfire, of course, more aggressive. We saw it before when they put up the Wall of Mummies, but even then it wasn't enough to bring down an Electrician. Any other hero would have turned out a hell of a lot better for him. But yeah, just not coming up for the goods this time around. As looks like we see the Legion just rallying themselves around this bottom rune here, with the Pyromares heading down towards the bottom, Electrician heading back down there as well. So we've got the Unstoppable team heading back down there once again. There is no support else there, so Forsaken Archer as well as Pharaoh just falling back ever so slightly there, back towards the middle. Soul Stealer now with Pestilence up to level 6. The oldie's on top of him, so he's having to just be a little bit more cautious there. Obviously dropping that armor down, he's a lot more susceptible to that damage if Pestilence decides to actually go on it. So in the end, Plague Rider is there in support, because Plague Rider is up to level 6 now as well, so they've got to be very, very careful of that ulti, because it can really just hurt a battle completely on its head.
Oh yeah, I mean, as far as like the most powerful ultimates in the game are concerned, you really got to put Plague Rider up there. As now we see Soul Stealer throwing a couple of Demons Hand out, trying to land something on Pestilence or Glacius. But for the most part, this game's been relatively slow. I mean, we've seen a few spurts of action here and there, and I know that we're only 10 minutes into it, but I mean, is this the kind of gameplay you expected, or do you think that we're going to see something much more action-packed?
No, I think both teams are very, very defensive right now. They're not quite sure about what everyone's up to, and this is the first of 3. You've got to remember that. These guys, whenever you play a game like this, you don't just play one game at a time. You're playing all 3. So you're literally just testing out how everyone's going, testing out the... actually, someone get the courier back, thank you. I don't want to see another courier die. The poor little flying monkeys.
Animal rights.
Yeah, animal rights. We're all about that one. It's just like whenever they take out a whole bunch of trees with the Hellbringer ulti, I always feel so sorry about it. But it's just something to be very, very cautious of. Was that a Pharaoh jumping himself in there?
Man, so close.
He's thinking about it, but we might actually get ourselves caught up here. Forsaken Archer drops and then actually pins Electrician in on the back of the arrows. But there goes the Plague Rider ulti, bouncing up. They've already got one. Pestilence puts down the Impale. They're still trying to fall back here. Glacius now comes in. Chip is in the mix. Everybody's in the mix. The swords are just carving everyone up, slowing everyone down. Electrician should go down. In fact, does go down. Rock is still flying up there, hoping to get one off. Off comes the Pyromancer stun. Fires over the top. Glacius goes down. Big demon hand off the back of it. Now the DD rune spawns at the 12-minute mark, so they might even try and make the most of this one and try and push them back even more. But most heroes going down from both sides now. Pharaoh just throwing down that soul just to have a bit of a look around at the moment, because obviously it does give vision as well. But the Hellborn side falling back after that small little engagement there. But that could have been horrendously bad for both teams, and I think both teams are pretty lucky to escape with the casualties they actually had.
Yeah, it looks like Drdz actually came out on top of that one. Trixie ended up going down playing that Forsaken Archer, so that's obviously going to slow her farm down. And just overall, I mean, the Soul Stealer being played by Hubris has been very, very good thus far this game. I mean, he's landed some pretty good demon hands, and he was able to kind of hold his own in that 2v1 lane until Plague Rider came to support.
Yeah, looks like we actually got a bit of a double TP coming up towards the top lane. I'm not quite sure if they want to actually try and stop the Soul Stealer, who's now moved up towards the top lane. So do we dare see a half repeat of what happened last time? Well, in our last semi-final, where the Soul Stealer and Valk at that point literally just switched between the lanes and just had Had the free farm. Pestilence coming in towards the top. Pharaoh's on top. The Maul of Mummies. They're too low. He's going to chop himself back out of it. Soul Stealer having to run high, though, to actually avoid the armies. And in the end, it is the Soul that actually brings it down. It's actually Rexy that claims it with the Hellfire, I think, actually probably was. And Pestilence does claim that one. Wall of Mummies, probably actually the best position, even though he didn't actually manage to actually catch him in there. He still forced him to actually run high, and that literally allowed Pestilence to do whatever else he wanted to him.
Yeah, I mean, the Wall of Mummies, it's obviously a great tool. It's not just useful for trapping someone inside, but also obviously for creating a lane out, especially if you need to escape. It's great for that kind of thing. As we see some pings at middle, so maybe somebody trying to get a little action going on here in the middle. But like I said, I mean, the push factor is something that a lot of times confuses people too, because it's hard to tell exactly how close you can get to those things before you start getting pushed back. And I believe that they have a little bit of a mana drain as well. Is that correct? Yeah, drain 55 mana right now.
Yeah, I think they do.
So I mean, that's early game. 55 mana that's a lot of mana.
Yeah, it's like 55 mana is what? It's like it's a third of a stun, and if you only have like enough for a stun, you lose that, then everything changes. DD Rune actually finally being picked up here by Glacius. Obviously, he's the best one to make the most of that one. Pyromancer coming up. Glacius, very, very good juke on the stun here. Electrician still coming up from behind. Pestilence now coming in. The ultimate, though, flying out, managed to actually bring him down. So Pestilence now falling on back here. Forsaken Archer just ripping through them at the moment, but it doesn't matter. The double tap comes off here. Pharaoh's now in the mix of it. The Wall of Mummies does actually come up here, but even then, he's trying to fall back here. Druids claim three on the board here. 4 heroes did come in to actually support that action, but still 3 heroes for no deaths. Chipper's coming on through. He thought he could actually pick up Plague Rider, does so as well. 1 rocket claimed off the back of it, but the stun's going to come off the roof, and Chipper Suicide comes on through, and Plague Rider does go down, but Chipper finds himself on the sim bin.
Wow. Druids really coming out here. They definitely came to play today. Currently got a 9-4 hero kill lead. Gonna just take a look at the stats right now. Looks like they got about a 7,000 experience lead and over 5,500 gold lead. So they are definitely well on their way towards winning this match. Obviously, it's not over yet, so we're gonna have to see what MSI has in store for them later on in the game. And like you said, this is only the first game of many. So just taking a look at some of the items right now. Electrician, he's actually picked up his Ghost Marchers. Arachna, she's picked up Ghost Marchers as well. Not sure what she's working on. Soul Stealer just got the amount of gold that he needs for his portal key. Wouldn't be surprised to see him picking that up pretty soon. Or maybe you might go another way. Although with Pestilence on the team, I mean, going for Assassin's Shroud, probably not the smartest idea. Pestilence, one of those true counters to that kind of item. I'm not saying that, obviously Pestilence got to be in range to hit you with the Swarm. Yeah. But at the same time, Portal Key probably the better initiation tool. And then Pyromancer, he's just got the little red booties and a bottle. As now we see Plague Rider sending these images in to do a little scare tactic here on Pharaoh. But maybe some action can happen down at the bottom. And now we see Pestilence actually using that stun to try to make his way out. Chipper lands some pretty good arrows. Wow. Rockets. Electrician taking quite a bit of damage. Now here comes Pharaoh with the ultimate. And onto Pyromancer. Pyromancer taking a ton of damage. He's going to go down. Now Pestilence coming back in. Here goes Electrician. He's going down as well. And the team support, I mean, it just wasn't there that time for Druids. It
wasn't. They're called out. Druids was called out, and MSI came out on top. The people in IRC actually spamming up a little bit the fact that it was a little bit sloppy the last battle from MSI. At that time, they were on the ball. They knew what they wanted to do. The pings were going off. They knew where they wanted to go, and they got in. They got on top of it, and now they're going to push back on the top lane. Arachna's called out here, so Druids are going to lose another one. There's 3 heroes on the top there to finish it off here. Chipper's the one taking the most of it. Actually, might even actually claim it. No, he does. Yeah, the claim, the finally, yes, the kill is actually finally claimed. But Arachna gets put on the sideline. And, quick kills. Very, very quick kills. It's slowly turning around. No one's really got the advantage here. And Soul Stealer is now being caught out here by the Pharaoh. Pharaoh trying to get close enough to even get the Wall of Mummies off. He doesn't have his ulti. He's still got another 22 seconds before that one's going to become available here. And now the hero's just split up there just a little bit. Rocket's flying off, hoping to get a little bit of a mini stun off there to gain up just that little bit of a nose hair towards the distance of it. Electrician now coming in there. Of course, with him there, you don't really want to actually try and engage there. That's way too much to try and take on. But still, managing to escape there. I'm not quite sure exactly what Soul Stealer was up there. I don't know if he's actually there to actually try and support.
Well, I mean, during the whole team fight, actually, Pestilence was taking quite a bit of damage down there at the bottom lane. He had to use that flight ability and get out of there. But right now, yeah, the game is definitely it's definitely still anyone's game. I mean, the lead has dropped now to 3,000 lead, which I mean is still quite a bit of gold. But with Soul Stealer actually choosing to go post haste instead of picking up that portal key, I mean. Do you think that's kind of a questionable pickup?
I don't think it is. I think they're all about trying to hold onto their towers at the moment. That's have we lost even a single tier 1 tower? I don't think we have. No, all the towers are actually up now, and we're still 18 minutes and 23 seconds into this game. I think both teams at this point are going, we want the map position. We don't want to give that up. And oh no! Lot has been called out here. The electrician is literally pumped up the shield. He's turned it around. He brought down Pharaoh. Soul Stealer's come back in again. He did die himself. They moved back from the chipper ulti. And, well, what a play for Lodge to even turn that around to actually claim the kill from that one. That's the strength of that shield you're talking about.
Well, it's not just the strength of the shield, but awesome communication there from Druids. I mean, they were all over the map, and then they were all at the same spot. Forsaken Archer using his ultimate right there to take out the that creep push, trying to make sure that his defensive tower does not go down. And I mean, you're 100% right. These guys are fighting for map control right now. And as far as picking up the post haste on Soul Stealer, I mean, he is one of those heroes that can get around the map. He's one of those heroes that can farm really well. So if he can use the post haste to get around the map, he can use that to get in there and just basically multiply his farm. As now we see Forsaken Archer once again putting the stun out into some creeps, maybe trying to catch Soul Stealer. However, I mean this bottom lane has absolutely nothing going on. This defensive tower might be taken out to creeps. We got a port in. It's going to be able to be denied in time. Yes, it is. Pharaoh doing a really good job there, being played by Rexy to deny that tower. As now maybe some action on the top lane, not going to happen. As Pestilence using that flight ability to get out of there. But it's like I said. I mean. Soul Stealer, he's done a really great job this time, and now that he's picked out that post haste, at first I was kind of questioning it, and then I was like, wait a second, Phil. You need to put your brain on and think about why he would get that post haste, because he can really, really multiply his farm if he can get around the map.
Yeah, I think you got your drunk cap on, not your thinking cap at the moment. But
it's because I've been drinking the entire time I've been DreamHack.
Of course. The beer flows in Sweden, isn't it, or something like that? Also, the hotel receptionist tried to tell me that she's trying to get me drunk. Moving on through top lane, finally, Electrician comes in, tries to actually pull Chipper back in again, but Chipper tanking it up, managed to actually get his face off just in time. But now they're coming through. Electrician still staying alive in this one. Soul Reaper is in the middle of it, so we still haven't seen the ultimate fly off from that one, but Chipper's actually been brought down by the Arachnos in the middle of the whole battle. Pharaoh's coming from behind, but the ultimate comes on through from Pyro, brings that down, and Glacius even fires off his ulti. Massive ulti comes off through. Arachno and Plague Rider falling back. 4 heroes going down for the Hellborn. 3 casualties for the Legion side, and now Arachno heading back up towards the top there to try and bring down that tier 1 tower, get this lane position back. But while that's happening, Forsaken Archer has been down the bottom lane, pushing the tier 1 tower down, and she's got it. She's still attacking it. The next creep wave's coming through, catapults in the back of it too, and they'll claim that tier 1 tower. So it is tit for tat, tower for tower, and almost hero kill for hero kill, 14 to 11. The only difference is 3.
This game is proven to live up to the hype that it had. A lot of people wanted to see, they want to see these teams in the semifinals, and this game has not disappointed whatsoever. Druids really coming out and making a statement. Really coming out right now and making a statement. A lot of people, I mean, even myself, I talked about how I thought MSI was going to beat Druids very handily. As a matter of fact, even Rexy himself, in the interview we talked about earlier, said that Druids, it was only a matter of how bad they were going to beat them. It wasn't going to be, you know what I mean? It wasn't, we might lose. It was whether or not they were going to stomp them or not. So, now Druids coming out here and making the best of the situations they've been put in, and they are really, really coming in here and making a show for us.
Oh, that they definitely are. Because MSI, though, they're not ones to actually lay down and take this. It's like 3 kills to them, nothing. Absolutely nothing. They're going to push it back. They're going to stay on top of this one. They can spam their spells. We've got Glacius Aura. What are we even going to worry about, really? Well, at least that should be the mindset of it.
Well, during that team fight, Plague Rider, he saved his ultimate till the perfect moment, and it didn't hit any creeps. It was just bouncing between 3 heroes that were all clumped up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you really got to give it to Velociraptor playing that Plague Rider. He really, really made it work there.
Yeah, he did. But that's the timing. That's the beautiful timing you see from this team. We've seen it so much throughout the tournament, and you have to really, really feel sorry for a lot of the lower ranked teams here actually playing, because they have really been on the receiving end of some fantastic fantastic Hon coming out from it. Whoa, hang on. Someone kill me. Actually, I think Phil actually missed that one. So, for everyone out that actually listened to that one, we don't want fantastic Hon. fantastic con coming on through. But in we actually go. Pyromancer, he's actually caught on the back of the Pharaoh ulti, coming on through. Hellfire doing massive damage to the middle section, and Chipper hanging around, saving his ulti as well in case there is a rainy day to come on through. Ready to push it out there. The Demon Hands flying out from Soulstealer to try and clear off that mid section. The support coming in from behind now. They've managed to catch Pestilence out there. Lotus on top of it. Electrician, he's on the back of it. Soulstealer straight on top of it, trying to get on top. They do bring down Pestilence, finally do actually bring him down, and it was that actually a port. Yes, they've actually got a port key now on the back of the Soulstealer on top of his BT. So the BTing around the map has allowed him to actually farm up enough to actually afford that port key. So he's got both the arms you now desire, Phil.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I was saying before, Hubis has done an absolutely amazing job thus far in the game. At the same time, however, Forsaken Archer has not been really involved in a lot of these team fights. I mean, we've seen his ultimate come out quite a few times as we see Chipper now laying down the ultimate in front of this tower here to try to do some damage on some creeps and maybe assist in pushing this tower. Unfortunately, kind of misplaced there and unable to really do any damage to any heroes or creeps. But like I said, Forsaken Archer has not really been involved in the last two team fights, and she's been taking the opportunity to go to different lanes and farm up herself. And currently, I'm going to take a look at her items real quick while we're in a little bit of a lull. She's already on her way to a Shrunken Head. How much gold does she have saved up? She's got 923 or 927 gold saved up, so she is only 400 away from having that BKB, or that Shrunken Head. And once she gets that, she's really going to be able to stick out longer in those team fights. Yeah,
that she definitely will. It's like a team fight. Well, Pharaoh's actually thinking about doing it, but a couple of quick hands there from Soulstealer right on top of it, so forced on back there. But I just don't think we're going to see another team fight for a little bit now. I think both teams are actually going to force themselves just to be a little bit steady, just try and balance up the ship right now. 15 to 12, pretty balanced. Everyone's just want to get their farm on, get into their lanes, take very few risks here. Maybe we might see a bit of a push from the Hellborn on that tier 1 tower. It's very, very low up there on the top there, and they probably want to level up the amount of towers which actually have gone down here. Obviously, tier 1 towers being down on the top and the bottom for the Hellborn, while only the bottom one's actually down for the Legion side. So there's something to be very, very cautious of too. This whole battle for map control, it literally plays off towers. The BTs for Soulstealer allows him to move around the map very, very easily, but all the other heroes rely on those homecoming stones to actually keep themselves up here. So it's just something to actually just keep in mind at the moment of how well a team can actually respond, is how well a team can actually move fast to actually support.
Yeah, Pestilence has had his portal key for a while now, and he's been actually doing a pretty good job of initiating. Unfortunately, it seems like, especially the last time when he initiated, it was far behind enemy lines, and he just really didn't have any team support there. So I think that MSI, they're definitely not out of it. This is a pretty even game thus far, but they really got to slow down the farm of that Soulstealer, and Pestilence has to work on increasing his farm. As we see, actually, it looks like Electrician getting caught here by Pharaoh. Here comes the ultimate from Arachna, however. Pharaoh taking quite a bit of damage. There's the ultimate from Chipper. Actually, Forsaken Archer does finish that BKB. Or, I'm sorry, wow. Shrunken Head. She's coming back in. There goes the Soulstealer, however, using the ultimate right on top of Pharaoh. Maybe not the best place ultimate, because it didn't really do a whole lot of damage to anybody but Pharaoh. But now Pestilence coming back in to try to finish off this Plague Rider. They're going to be able to do that. And now they're going in towards Pyromancer. Rocket lands. Is going to be enough? Is the harassment from Forsaken Archer going to be enough? She has enough for the stun. Is it going to hit? Actually, did she even use the stun? I couldn't tell right there.
I don't think she did.
So she's actually just going to finish him off with an auto attack. So Trixie, playing that Forsaken Archer, now really getting back into it now that she's got that Shrunken Head. And, that team fight, definitely a win goes in the win category for MSI.
That it definitely does. That's going to give them a little bit back here. They're still behind the kill count here as the Demon Hands trying to come off here. Very, very quick port key straight there from Soulstealer. Getting himself back there. He used every single bit of mana. 15 mana is what he had left at the end of that one. And they're still going to push up that mid. He's got no other choice but to actually run back. The Glyph is going to actually give a bit more time towards this mid to actually try and hold them off here. And it's going to be enough. The tier 2 tower is going to survive there a little bit longer. TP towards the bottom lane. And Electrician's going to have to push that lane back out once again. But still, 2 tier 1 towers up here for our Legion side. And that's big plays for the Druids to actually still have those here 27 minutes into this game going up against a team like MSI.
Oh, yeah. And, Electrician... Well, sorry there. Anyway, Electrician there, he's actually picked up his Sustainer, and so probably going for that Sacrificial Stone type build that we've seen a few times. Not necessarily the standard build for him, but Sacrificial Stone, obviously, it gives you a little bit of mana regeneration, gives you some health regeneration, so it can be really, really useful in kind of accompaniment with that electric shield.
Yeah, it also like boosts up your stats. So it's very, very hard to bring someone down, especially with that sacrificial stone. It's literally it's like the original item you actually got onto Defiler. Defiler just used to live out of that item. It was the first item you generally go, and it was the best way of actually building it up. So obviously that stability, they want to actually survive in these big battles, making sure those big heroes don't actually go down. And it looks like the Hellbournes, I don't think they're actually quite sure what they want to push. They're thinking about mid. They're thinking about top. They all went top before. There's like 4 heroes hanging around inside the neutrals up on the top lane before, and even now just pushing that lane out. Pharaoh by himself. I'm wondering if this is almost like a half bait at the moment. They're like, here you go, here's Pharaoh. You want to take him? See what you can do, and we're going to be right in the back to slap your ass down, because it's also happening straight here from the Druid side. TP support coming in. That makes 4 heroes now. Plague Rider holding inside the trees here. You've also got Pyromancer that's literally moving himself around there at the moment. They're not quite sure if they want to push themselves in just yet, but with Soul Steel and Arachna in the middle lane, I don't think anyone will want to go up against those two just by themselves, let alone with the rest of the support.
Yeah, actually, I was paying attention to the top lane where Forsaken Archer was farming creeps with her ultimate yet again. We see Glacius throwing the slow out, and Chipper firing a few rockets trying to catch somebody. Looks like Arachna got caught a little bit there. She drops up to about a little bit over half health. So she's a very, very weak target early in the game. Arachna is. I mean, she just can't take a whole lot. Now Pharaoh throwing out the Tormented Soul, trying to get something started, but without Forsaken Archer there, actually it's a 4 versus 3 situation, or is it 5 versus 3? It's a 5 versus 3 situation here, so they're going to go ahead and concede this middle tower since they do not have the support of the rest of their players. Forsaken Archer, she's doing a pretty good job of pushing this top defense tower, dropping it down to a little bit below half health, and now she's going to have to back on up. However, with Electrician hot in pursuit, I mean, now she's going to pop the BKB. Wow, I'm going to stop that right now. She's going to pop that Shrunken Head, and she's going to be able to pour it on out of there.
I'm not the only one. Not the only one.
The thing is I didn't even play Dota. How sad is that?
Well, you gotta remember, it's a symbiotic relationship between the two games, and obviously sometimes someone has to improve themselves, and Hon is definitely doing that by themselves. So moving ourselves back into this Heroes of Nuith game, we're gonna push it out on the midsection. So Soul Stealer coming on through. There's pings going all across the mid here. I'm loving the rockets just flying out there from Chipper. Even if it's not to get the stun, it's still giving the vision. It's almost like a perfect vision that's coming out from not only Pharaoh but also Chipper. And I think you don't need wards. It was commented very, very early on that we didn't actually have many wards around the map here, but with those 2 heroes, you've got an easy way of keeping track of all movements around the map. They're not permanent, but they definitely give you that massive amount of vision. Oh,
definitely. I mean, the rockets, especially since you can fire them in succession of one another, you fire them in different directions, you get pretty good sight. As now we see, I was going to say a few of the Hellbourne players heading towards the bottom lane, but it was just Pestilence images running through the jungle. But Pharaoh taking this opportunity right now to farm with the middle lane. Let's take a look at his items. Right now he's just currently working with Steam Boost, so choosing not to go for any kind of Mystic Vestments or anything. I mean, do you think that's kind of questionable? I mean, at least the early Mystic Vestments would help him to survive when he kind of initiates in those team fights.
It would, but really, I've just given up actually questioning a lot of hero builds, because every single time I do, you question what they've done, you question the hero picks, you question the hero picks in the third match of the semi-final last before. And instantly they just take it out and just yeah, well, so, meanwhile, about my knowledge of Hon, I'm going to put that in the bin where it belongs.
Now that I've made an ass of myself, I'm just going to go sit in my room.
Yes.
But, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I honestly, I think that, he does have a couple of those bracers, but I do have to say, I think that at least the Mystic Vestments for 400 gold could help him to survive in some of these team fights a little bit better. However, both teams playing very, very passively at this point. I mean, they're basically both taking this opportunity to kind of hit up their jungles, hit up the lanes, and try to increase their farm.
Actually, speaking of farm, I'm about to see a Thunderclaw being completed on Forsaken Archer up there on the top. Now, we haven't seen the Frost. The Frost hasn't come out this time. The Frost does look pretty damn cool on the split shot that comes out from Forsaken Archer as well. So I got to say, I wouldn't mind seeing that one again just for the pure visual ecstasy you actually get from that one. But in the end, we're actually seeing a bit of a group up here in the middle. Obviously, Pestilence likes playing with Pestilence, and Pestilence has another Pestilence there because they have 3 of them there in the middle lane, being, of course, the illusions coming out from him. Interesting to see Pestilence. He's got himself a portal key. He's gone for a Warhammer. So increasing that damage, and, of course, put 1-on-1 together, and he's going for
Shrunken Head.
There you go.
I mean, he's already got that Mighty Blade there, so he's just a pattern away. Once he picks it up, obviously that's going to really increase his initiation capabilities. However, Arachna has already picked up a stroke ahead of her own and choosing to go Whispering Helm here. Electrician going in, maybe to try to grip this this image Pestilence, but I don't think. I mean, already heading back, so maybe just trying to set some sort of bait. However, it is looking like it was going to be at least a 4 versus 3 situation if they decided to initiate there. And Forsaken Archer is continuing to farm this top lane.
Yeah, it's something they've got to stop. It's something they've definitely got to stop. We've seen so many times throughout the match. Actually, speaking of stopping his tracks was Glazier's Electrician still tracking him down. Pharaoh's come in. Pharaoh's actually got a massive wall of mummies on. He's pushed Plaguerider back and allowed them to get in the middle of it. But Soul Stealer comes in the middle as well, turns it around for his entire team, gets himself a double tap, and still Electrician is alive, hitting on the back of Chipper. Give us a demon hand. Give us a demon hand. And it could actually finish this one off. They're being forced back. Plaguerider actually being nailed here by Forsaken Archer, who actually TP'd himself back in now as Arachna turns around, trying to actually push this Forsaken Archer back now, doing so successfully. In comes the little bit of a quiver blow come off there, but it's not going to be enough, and we will see both teams fall back here. And Legion, well, they came off a little bit better than that one. Once again, letting the support heroes die off the back of this one, where the Scourge, they lost Pestilence, they lost Pharaoh, and they're pretty big things to actually lose. But once again, Forsaken Archer being on top of it, coming on, TPing from the top lane back in towards that mid, and rallying the defensive line.
Yeah, and despite that team fight basically going in Druid's favor, they're still only up by a mere 5,000 gold, and at 35 minutes into the game, that's not an insurmountable amount of gold. So MSI, I keep saying it, and but it's true, is that they're not out of this yet. They're still definitely into it. Chipper has been farming relatively well. He's I'm not sure if he's picked up his Staff of the Master yet. No, he has not. So he's actually still kind of quite a ways away, a bit from there. But the one shining light of that team fight was that Forsaken Archer did not die and was able to pick up a couple kills. A really, really well landed ultimate right there by Forsaken Archer, kind of predicting that they were going to go up towards that way and do quite a bit of damage to them. So she's going to continue to get farmed up. And honestly, between her and Arachna late game, I think I would like to see. I think I like Forsaken Archer in that kind of 1 versus 1 battle.
Yeah, yes, you would definitely have to. Like, Forsaken Archer's had such a fantastic start, fantastic way through, and completely agree. It's Soul Stealer holding off the mid tower at the moment. It's just like you are just. This is the point of the game where you do start to predict a little bit later into it. Like you've seen Forsaken Archer farming up, even using the oldie to make sure she actually gets all the last hits on the back of it. And I'm just wondering where this game's going to end up. Literally, for me, always Rax is what makes the game. You pull a Rax, you literally gain yourself the upper hand of the game. You can push down as many towers as you want, hold as much lane position as you want. Unless you get inside that base, unless you get that Rax down, it all counts for naught. You've got to get that Rax down. So 20 to 18, 36 minutes into it, not counting to anything. They're quite happy to let that tier 2 tower take a bit of harass here in the middle lane. Rockets flying off. They're waiting for the right time to actually engage, while Electrician's actually taking it all off now, moving on through. The Blinks actually come straight through. They're actually hitting Arachna. Pestilence jumped in behind, and now they're jumping back in again. Soul Stealer's in the middle. We've just lost our big Iceman. Pestilence takes the fall as well. Pharaoh's trying to retreat, still getting nailed from the side there. That gets done as well. Pharaoh does go down, and Druid's claiming 3 for naught. It's not over just yet. Forsaken Archer trying on the back of Electrician, who's actually escaping on a B stick of health. He is not dead though. Tier 2 tower going down the middle, pushing it back. Forsaken Archer once again being the last one left alive. Now they're turning around. Arachna as well as Plaguerider on the back of it. Can they bring it down? Electrician, they're all on a B stick of health, and they all stick around. Can Chipper do anything apart from die? No, he can't. That is genocide coming up, and it's another 13 seconds before even our big Glaciers comes back on the field. But what confidence coming out here from the Druids boys to stay there with such low HP, and then deciding, no, we can take this, we're going to stick it through, and they took out all 5 heroes.
Yeah, I mean, they've been playing absolutely phenomenally, and it all goes back to, I mean, the hero picks they're solid hero picks, The team fight capability is there. The communication is there. Electrician actually picking up a Null Stone. I thought originally he was going to go for Sacrificial Stone, but picking up that Null Stone, that's, I wasn't even thinking about that, and I don't really know why, because it's such a great item for him. It just makes sense. I mean, you get the health regeneration, you get the mana regeneration, which allows you to keep that mana shield on for even longer. And, him picking up that item now, it's going to allow him to absorb the first stun that they try to put on him to interrupt that grip. And, that's really what makes Electrician that super strong hero. Aside from, obviously, you talk about the Mana Shield being able to survive. He's one of those heroes that's always been tanky. He's always been hard to kill.
Yeah.
But the buffs that he got a few patches ago to his energy absorption to make it do more damage, I mean, the longer you can stay in there to have mana to do those things, and also, that static grip is just such a useful tool.
It definitely is. And Glacier's caught completely out, but Pestilence actually came in. They've turned it around. They brought down Pharaoh. Druids actually get caught out here. Soul Stealer comes up, takes out Glacier, who's literally just all he wanted to do was D-ward. Pestilence claims the kill, but Instance come back through there, through the Soul Stealer, coming back in towards the middle lane, but it's not over just yet. They've actually dived the tier 1 tower. Pestilence claims another. They're still moving through. Chipper's in it. Soul Stealer lets off the ulti. Back at Chipper. He goes down. Demon Hand being very, very long range, but that was the damage, the AoE damage you actually get from those hands again. That's what we're talking about. Pestilence still alive now, pushing himself back, just trying to get himself back now, and in comes the ulti from our big boy. It is big girl, Forsaken Archer, obviously riding an old dinosaur, pushing them back there, and that's enough intimidation to actually push them back. 2 heroes down for either side, and I think both teams are happy to actually escape licking their wounds from that one, but still catching those heroes out there. Glacier's a simple thing of de-warding, and that's the moments you really got to try and take out, and they did it perfectly.
Yeah, this has turned into a game of shrunken heads. It seems like everybody's got one these days. And, actually, wow, Electrician here picking up an Acolyte Staff, so that's going to not only increase his mana pool, but also his mana regeneration. And he also has a Glowstone, so it'll be interesting to see what he decides to go for here. Seeing just the Acolyte Staff, I would originally think that he was going for something like the Frostfield Plate.
Uh-huh.
But with that Glowstone, correct me if I'm wrong, that's part of the makings of a Sheep Stick, is it not?
It is. It is. So
adding the mana regeneration to that and the mana regeneration to the Nullstone, as now we seem to have somebody get here. Glacier's taking quite a bit of damage, but here comes Pestilence. There's the ultimate from Glacier's, putting a lot of DPS on the Pyromancer. Glacier's going to end up going down, but so is Pyromancer. Now Plague Rider trying to get on out of there, and there's the Tormented Soul from Pharaoh. They are going to choose not to initiate any further, or follow up at least, as now they're looking at Kongor, maybe trying to do something with him. The ultimate actually was used by Pestilence outside of the thing, which I don't believe. It doesn't. If you attack him outside of it, just automatically misses. So even the ultimate misses right there. And here comes Chipper down to kind of assist in taking out this Kongor. So unless it seems like they know something's there, we just saw Blue being played by Loda pinging that area, so they know that they're there. However, they are not going to choose
there goes the pings.
On this.
They couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop it even if they tried. Even though both teams are still 1 hero down, they had the vision up there. They knew if people were going to come, so they could fall themselves back out once again. But you've been noticing over the last 5 minutes, they've been watching Kongor. I've been wondering if they even did that just to deny the Legion boys that little bit of a hope to get that token of life and put it onto the back of the Druid side. Because if that happened, then it would have been a completely different kettle of fish, and you would have found MSI very, very heavily on the defense. But Pharaoh's been spamming it up there with that soul, just watching that Kongor pit, wondering if they're going to go for it. In the end, that one little hero kill, they all fell back after taking a little bit of damage there, and they saw that was their opening. I wondered if they actually got their timing a little bit wrong off the back of it. With that Pestilence ulti, they wanted to wait till that one was actually on before they attempted it. So it literally bought an extra 15 seconds for the Legion side. But they went on top of it, they didn't see it coming, and in the end, that's a token of life, and that's literally a 6 hero push coming sometime soon. Yeah,
and with the death of Pyromancer is just such a useful hero, and I mean he's got a portal key himself, so the ability to him get in, use that portal key, and also get the stun off on multiple heroes, they really needed him for that. Otherwise, they basically just have to rely on good ultimates and Electrician to get in there and do some damage. So they really needed, I think they really needed Pyromancer to be able to set up some sort of defense there, and MSI knew it. So once Pyromancer was able to be taken out, they knew that they were going to be able to get there or get into the Kongor pit and able to get that kill and walk away with it. So now that they have the token, I'm not sure who picked it up. Did you see? Is it Forsaken Archer? No, it was Pestilence. So with Pestilence having it now, they can really look to strongly initiate. as we might have some action here as Electrician now running into Pestilence. Pestilence not able to use the Shrunken Head, so that token going to be used immediately. That's unfortunate. Here's the ultimate for Soul Stealer, but not going to be in time. Pestilence able to use that Shrunken Head to negate all damage, so more or less a wasted ultimate there by Soul Stealer. Unfortunately, there is no one around to capitalize on that mistake. If there was somebody there to capitalize on that use of Soul Stealer's ultimate, being used basically for nothing, you got to really put that in favor of MSI.
Yeah, the cavalry's only just literally coming in right now, and they're going to come in from the back there. The stun's going off. They're trying to hold Electrician off there, but he's already actually, you see it instantly pop off there, the Nullstone, just waiting for the right time to actually defend it off here, and they will actually hold off that top tower. But it doesn't look like just yet the Druids want to fall back completely. They're moving back inside the neutrals at the moment, but they haven't actually spread themselves out the lanes. They're just taking out the neutral creeps, and now they're going to move themselves out. Looks like Lotta's actually headed himself back in towards that middle lane as well, going to push it out as much as he possibly can. And such a fantastic AoE damage that comes out from him right now. Going to push out that middle lane and then fall straight back again. So keeps those lanes pressured out there. We saw the importance of that one in our last semi-final, just how important it is keeping that creep wave on the other side of the river.
Well, I mean, the thing is that even though they did lose that, they lost that token, it's really kind of no harm, no foul.
Yeah.
I mean, they weren't able to pick up the kill on Pestilence once again, so they didn't lose him, and no one else went down on either team. So, it's obviously really great for Druids that they were able to eliminate that token from being used any further, at least during this next push. But I mean, taking a look at just like the map right now, we see that. Still 9 towers left over here on the Legion side, and only 7 on the Hellborn side. So overall, at almost 45 minutes in the game has been relatively slow. I mean, we've seen a lot of hero action, but no one's really looking to push in for whatever reason.
Well, you got to remember, the second you push in, it's dangerous. You can literally either throw the game or win the game with a push, and you've got to get your timing right. I think for both teams right now, the ganking is the only thing they're focusing their timing on. They don't want to try and focus the pushing in, and I think it's a big thing. It's a big gamble. Like you're here, you're playing for a massive prize purse coming out from this one, and you've still got. And this is the ticket to the grand final. If you win this game, you go 1-up, and going 1-up in a best of 3 is possibly the best situation you could ever be in. It allows you to try new things, takes the pressure off a little bit, and puts the pressure on the opposition. And literally, both teams, they don't want to lose that advantage. No one has it yet, but 45 minutes into it, we're going to get to the point where the heroes are going to start to max level up. Once at about 15 more minutes into this one, people will start to actually clock up to that magical level 25. And from there on in, everything's going to go nuts, just like the middle lane. They managed to actually catch out. Glazier's out there a little bit further. He's got 55 seconds in the sim. If it was 55 minutes, this game will be a very, very long time for him. But still pushing on back now. And it looks like this might be our counter push here for Druid. If they can get it down. They got one hero down. The spam can't come up. They're trying to demolish this creep wave. Rockets flying out from there from Chipper, and Electrician is leading the charge in there, taking the tower, not even caring about it. He doesn't even care. He's taking so much glint firing off here. They've still got another 10 seconds before the creep wave will respawn back up here. Pharaoh flying off down there. The souls flying off. Try to slow them down here. They will bring down this tower before the creep wave's even going to respawn here. And Arachna has, that's a Bane, literally tripled himself there in the middle. They're focusing on the melee racks. In comes Pharaoh and Pestilence on top of it. They're all in the middle of Chipper ulti. Look for the Plague Rider ulti. It's bouncing up perfectly. The Forsaken Archer moving out just far enough. They've lost a couple of heroes though. Still moving through. Lot is impossible to kill. Moving on through. They're going to get another one too. And literally just add another one to the tally there. Forsaken Archer going down. 85 seconds worth of time on the bench here. And that's going to be enough time to take out this mid-racks. And this is a fantastic position for Druids. Porky back up again. Glazier's back alive again. Pharaoh comes through. They're going to bring down the Soul Stealer with Pestilence in support there. Electrician, now he's in a little bit of trouble. Forsaken Archer's now back up again. Glazier's even dropping down the ulti to try and bring it down. That just fires off the frost plate as well. And in the end, 4 heroes actually going down. And the range barracks is actually still intact. And for that to actually still be standing right now, I think MSI should get massive props for that. And they've got 60 seconds. Look at that time. Plague Rider's got another 20 seconds before she comes back up again. But still over a minute for another 3 heroes to come through. And this is going to be a big push. They've got to claim at least both the Tier 1 and Tier 2 tower in the middle to actually make up for what they just lost.
Well, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, losing that Rax obviously is just going to be absolutely devastating for them. But at the same time, Druids may have pushed in a little too far, a little too heavily right there. And against a team like Fnatic MSI, the last thing you want to do is feed them gold.
Yeah.
Whether you just want a team fight or not, whether it looks like you're being successful, it looks like you got the game kind of wrapped up. The last thing you want to do is feed a team that is as good as Fnatic MSI free gold. So Druids, I mean, great job on them taking that out, and obviously you got to put that in the win column for them to be able to push in that middle lane. However, MSI is a team that will take advantage of your mistakes, and if they do it and they do it well, then you can look for them to get right back in this game. You can never count Fnatic MSI out.
That is definitely true. Maybe it's a bit of a downside of their matches they played earlier on. They at that point they would dive. They'd look for the kills. They'd try and get on top of it. And this time they did the same thing again. And it's not a lower ranked team, as you said. This is MSI. You don't literally say, we can dive MSI. We'll come out on top from that one. No, you can't. You got to stay on top. You don't give the enemy anything. And 32-25, 7 kills the difference. That should have been a lot more. They lost 4 quick heroes off the back of that. Pyromancer coming on through for the middle. They might try and claim Glacius once again. Chipper ulti comes on through. They've given them something. They've given them a kill in the middle lane. MSI claim 1 life. It is, of course, Chipper going on the sidelines. Pyromancer on the sidelines. He has 65 seconds in the sim bin. Waiting to push out this mid lane. 1 hero down. It doesn't seem like much, but this is the time to shine.
Oh, yeah, I mean, and that's just what I'm talking about right there. I mean, Pyromancer went in. It was unfortunate, but Glacius, good reaction time. He went the other way, and he was able to get out of range of that stun, and now they're going to look to push this second-tier tower. And if they're able to get this, if they're able to even up this middle lane, we are talking about a whole new ball game.
That we definitely are, because Rax is what I always say. It's literally the key to any game, any Hon game you ever play. You want the Rax, that mid tower, they're rallying to defend. Look at Lotta straight up there. Doesn't even care if he's going to get stunned off the back of it, and they just fire it off here. In he comes. He might even be able to bring down Chipper and Pharaoh by himself. Pharaoh just laying down the wall of mummies, making sure he has to stay up high. He doesn't really care if he has to stay up high. He's still hitting on the back of it. We're losing heroes in the middle lane while that's happening up there on the top lane. I apologise for not actually being able to see that one, but Chipper's now in over his head. He'll go down. Arachnid for the support. They're going to back on Pharaoh as well. We've lost 2 heroes from the Legion. We've lost 3 from the Hellborn. Pharaoh putting up the walls of mummies just to stop the chase coming on through, and he'll be able to retreat himself back through. Or Willie, looks like Soulsteel is actually on the hunt here. Arachnid still moving on through as well, and still moving through. Portkey up. He's just having a bit of a check around. He's not quite sure if he can actually track him down. He can't in the end. But 4 heroes down. Look at him run straight through. The creep wave is what they want. The creep wave is what they're going to get here, and now their own creep wave comes on in. It is the super seismic creeps of the melee size, and they're going to hit on that range barracks. So much damage coming out. TP going back up towards the top there from the Soul Stealer. So now they've got the mid racks down. They've got that fully down, and what a good scrambling defense. Even with that 1 hero down, they turned it around, and literally now the Hellborn side, the MSI guys, are in a very, very horrendous position.
Well, I mean, it comes back to initiation there. I mean, we were talking about the team that initiates here is going to be the team that overall will more than likely win the team fight.
Yeah.
And even though it was a 5 versus 4 situation, they chose to allow someone else to initiate. They chose to let Electrician get up there and take all that damage, because that's what he does best. I mean, he's not a damage dealer. He's not a huge end game carry. He's someone who deals enough damage to have to be attacked, but it can also just survive and survive. So, I mean, what they did was they just let him, basically take 2 heroes and follow him around. Meanwhile, the other 3 of them were able to have, basically a 3 versus 3. And in that kind of situation, especially with the farm that Soulsteel has got so far, they were able to handle that situation in a 3v3.
Yeah, it was perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, TP's actually coming down towards the bottom lane. Looks like a lot of pings going around the Kongor pick, because he's now back up again. The ward from Druid is literally, it's like they've given Kongor a nightlight just there. It's right in front of him. So they're going to know the second anyone even tries anything around there. But Plague, Pyro, Electrician, that are all hanging around, and now the movement's coming. So I think that water couldn't have come at a better time. MSI, I think they want Kongor again. Pestilence is just hanging out there around the ancient neutrals, waiting for the right time to push. The waves are still being pushed in on the top and the mid, top and of course the bottom waves, and of course that mid is the super seismic creeps, and they're on the back of that too. So this isn't going to be the best time to do it. And look at the sentry wars straight down top of that one. The game is literally up. They can jump on top of them, and they're all still hanging around there. They're waiting for the next big team fight. We're all 5 heroes from all teams literally waiting for the right time to strike, and no team actually coming off with a better position to actually initiate it. Yeah,
but right now both teams very, very spread apart. both of them know, what we were talking about before. Both of them know that whoever initiates first here, they're obviously going to have the upper hand. And but there's lots of shrunken heads, lots of shrunken heads out there right now. I mean, taking a look at it, Arachna's got one, Soul Stealer's got one. Okay, so that's it on that side. So I guess maybe not as many as I originally assumed, but I know Pestilence and Forsaken Archer have one. So at least 4 to the 10 heroes with shrunken heads on them right now. Although here we go at the top lane as looks like Chipper taking quite a bit of damage. He's actually going to go down. This is the point that we're looking for. This is their time to push right here. They need to set up some sort of successful defense. I'm not sure if it's going to be able to happen. Pestilence comes in, pops shrunken head, puts the stun out. There's a really good ultimate there from Arachna. However, Soul Stealer doing so much damage. Uses that ultimate, a little bit of a bad ultimate right there, but not going to matter. He's put out way too much damage. Forsaken Archer going to be the only one left alive. They're going to be working on these racks right now. There goes that tower. Here come the rack kills. We saw the GGs coming out from MSI. That is game 1, ladies and gentlemen. We're waiting on the vote to concede. There it is right there. It is going to go through. It is going to go through. So there's the defeat. MSI is going to go down to Druids in the first round of this 3-game series. Wow, what a game.
What a play by Druids. You said early on in the interview, they said, we're going to come in, it's just going to be how badly we beat them. They didn't beat them badly. That was well played by both sides. It literally just kept going back and forth, and just a couple of those team fights just seemed to shift the balance of the entire game.
Wow, just an excellent game. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you stay tuned. We're going to be right back with Fnatic MSI going up against Team Druids. Probably be about 10 to 15 minutes. The players are going to take a little bit of a break, get some food, get some drink back in them. And after they do that, we will be right back. Of course, I will be back on the stream probably in about 30 seconds, so make sure you guys stay tuned.
Of course, it's
Toby and
Dr. Phil moment.
The Phil and Toby show will begin here in about 30 seconds after we cancel close this stream off. So make sure you guys stay tuned. We got a whole lot more coverage coming at you. This is Phil, and joining me was Toby Wan Kenobi of GameSta. We are going to be signing off. We'll see you guys real soon.